welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us. Pop stars, have you ever wondered how some of your favorite action heroes stack up against each other? Like, where does Neo from the Matrix rank with Blade or John McClane from Die Hard? Well, wonder no more. Just check out Shay Serrano's The Action Hero Scouting Report to get the rankings for 20 plus of your favorite action heroes. To get your copy, just go to shayserrano.gumroad.com. And yes, that is a real thing. um, Tammy, do you have a favorite action hero or a favorite action movie?
My favorite action movie is also like my favorite Christmas movie.
Die Hard?
And huh?
Die Hard?
Yes.
Did I spoil it? My bad. When you
Yes.
said that, I'm like, Die Hard? Okay.
It's gonna be Die Hard. Like I can watch that over and over and over again and never get sick and tired of it. There is action. It is funny. It happens around the holidays. I don't care what you say. That is a Christmas movie. It's my absolute favorite action flick. And for an action figure, no, I actually was like, I guess a stereotypical girl. I never played with action figures when I was younger, so I don't actually have a favorite action figure.
Oh, okay. I love I agree with you. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Do you only watch it at Christmas?
Huh?
Do you only watch Die Hard at Christmas?
I watch it whenever it shows up, but every single time that it comes out around Christmas time, I definitely have to sit there and watch it.
Okay. Um, I love Die Hard. I gosh, I used to be a really big like being a '90s early 2000s uh John Claude Van Damme before he went crazy.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and Steven Seagal. But now I think for me, they've been replaced by Jason Statham, would be my modern day action hero. Like I love Jason Statham. I just rewatched the Meg. Well, now I'm gonna rewatch the Meg to get ready for the Meg 2. Because you know how I am about Statham. Anything
Yes.
he's in, I'm seeing it. So, but I would probably say for a modern day, it would. I love the John Wick series. Like it's just done so
Ooh.
much. So yeah. But anyway, I actually have the Action Hero Scouting Report. I highly recommend that people check it out. It deals a lot more with some of your classic action heroes, but it's still very good and very creative. Speaking of Shea Serrano, this week we get to hang out with the Gonzalez family in Primo, which tells the story of Rafa, a teenager growing up in San Antonio who's trying to balance the growing pains of first love, friends, and family, all while trying to figure out his future with often hilarious results as he seeks guidance from his mother and life advice from his uncles. um, so tell me, what did you think of Primo? Did it live up to his name, or was it a wretched bottom barrel bore fest?
Um, I didn't like it.
What?
I didn't like it. I know when you first brought it up, I remember having the mindset. I was like, oh yeah, because like I've seen like so many clips of it. Like, yeah, like definitely, like let's do it because the clips looked funny, right? I laughed every time I watched one of the clips. I prefer to go back to just the clips because when I watch the show with context and you kind of see it, the funny in isolation was great, right? So just watching the clips and seeing those like scenes that they pulled out for laughs, I was just like, that's so stupid. Like that's so stupid. And then I watched like the whole show. And once again, let me put out a disclaimer. I am not a fan of like slapstick, like funny. I don't do stupid comedy. It's never been my cup of tea. I'm not a fan of stupid comedy. And I felt that Primo, the show Primo, was all stupid comedy to me. And so because of that, I could not get into it. I couldn't shut my brain off to the stupidity of all that was going on in the show. So yeah, it was not my cup of tea. And I'm sure we'll get a little bit more detail into that. But overall, not my cup of tea. What
Oh my
about you, Betty?
God, I loved it. Like, I'm for some reason I'm just I guess ever since the classics went off, the '90s when or the early 2000s when we had all of our shows, Living Single, all of that. I really haven't been a fan just of comedies, and I guess because I love how I feel about diversity, and I love seeing people who look like me at least once in a show, besides being a throwaway character. And so, but I can't remember the last time I laughed so much, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did because again, I generally am not a sitcom watcher or sitcom person. But I watched it multiple times, and each time I found something new to laugh at. Like, and then the original jokes, they never get old. And I knew it was I knew there was something to it when it captured my mom's attention because my mom she's like she has the driest sense of humor. I don't even know if she has a sense of humor. And it was something that, and I remember when we first watched it, it's like around the time when it first came out, the NBA playoffs were on, and so we were waiting in between games, and I'm like, okay, we have a couple of hours to kill, so let's just watch a few episodes of Primo, right? We ended up watching the whole thing, and it started off with her sitting in the kitchen, just trying to like she was clean, she was doing dishes, so she started watching it, and I so she was watching it, obviously while she was doing dishes from the kitchen, and then she sat down and made a cup of coffee, and and I thought, oh, okay, she's gonna go back to her room or her office and start watching TV or something. She sat at the counter at the bar in the kitchen, and she drank the coffee, and she was engaged, engrossed. And so then I went to the couch, and I thought, okay, when she finishes her coffee, she is going to go, and she didn't. She stayed the whole time. Then we're at one point, like, the game is on, and she's like, "Well, how many more episodes?" And I'm like, "It's like two or three." She goes, "Oh, we can just finish this and then go to the game." But she was actually like laughing out loud, and I was like, and I didn't. And there were some parts that it is like stupid funny, some of it, and I didn't think she would like it, but she loved it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is now." That's how I knew that, okay, this is funny because she doesn't laugh at anything. She doesn't like comedies. I'm like, I didn't even know she had a funny bone in her, like, really. So, but it is loosely based on the author Shea Serrano's life, and I'm a huge fan. He's like my spirit animal. He's a former teacher from the Houston area, and now he's a New York Times best-selling author, and he has his own TV show. So I'm all about that, and he's a great Twitter follow. So that's where I first heard of the show, is just by following him on Twitter. I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out just to support. But I genuinely love this show, and everyone I've told to watch it, they, with the exception of you, gosh. So I'm like maybe five or six or whatever, but it's not bad. But they loved it, and I was just like, yeah. So, and but I hate that you didn't like it. Um,
Let me. I No, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I did not. I did not. And here's how you know that it's not. Now, granted, other people can enjoy it, but people have a different like threshold of
fair,
comedy. And some people find stupid comedy to be hilarious, like because it sneaks up on you, right? I just have never found stupid comedy to be hilarious. Like it just does not work for me. But I couldn't even finish some of the episodes.
What?
Like it would get almost to the end, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen," and I would just like go to the next episode. Like I wouldn't even finish whole episodes, and they were like what 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even finish full episodes. Like yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, okay, so what didn't you like? Because let me guess, you didn't like the uncles. I love the uncles. I thought they were like the heart and soul of the show. They were hilarious.
I did not like the uncles.
I love the uncles, and they're based on like his real life uncles. Like, I
Which
love the uncles.
which is horrible. Like I was just like, so you mean to tell me that you have 5 idiots for uncles? Like none of your uncles has any intelligence whatsoever?
I
That you literally have 5, or because and that's what makes me think you played it up for laughs. So you
Like,
took it to the extreme on your uncle's personality, because there is no way 5 of your uncles are fucking idiots. Like, there's no way.
it's like loosely based, and like you have those uncles who each have their who have their own, who are funny in their own way, who have personality traits. Like, he does have an uncle who owns a lawn care service, and he would go work for him in the summer, and then he even got his boys to go work for him. So it's like, yeah. And then Raleigh is based off of one of his uncles who is unfortunately doing a bed. So I'm sure they're not all five idiots, like, to that
Well,
extreme,
and
but
that's what I'm
they
saying.
have some of the personality traits.
So you played up on their idiocy, and that just makes me even more disappointed, because I kept looking at it and I was just like, the reason why I didn't like the uncles is because there were five in idiots. Like, you were grown adults and you're idiots. And I was just like, if it's based on his life, it has to be extremely loosely based on his life. Because I have uncles. I have a lot of uncles. I don't have one uncle that acts like any of that. And I have an uncle who's in prison. Like, I got one who's about that. Like, I have an uncle who's doing a bit right now. I have an uncle who, is in public service. Like, oh, and I'm just like, no way. No, like, you played up the idiocy for laughs, and it does not resonate with me. It does not resonate with me. It does not, like, make me look favorably on your family, because your uncles were idiots.
I love the uncles. Like,
None of them were smart.
they
None of them.
they each brought something
No.
different. Like, there was, they did.
No.
I
We gonna have
love
to
them.
agree to disagree on this, Eddie, because I no. Like, you point something out, and I'm gonna be like, "Are you serious?"
I love it.
Like, what is it, Mondo?
Mondo, yes,
Fucking idiot,
the
idiot, idiot. He, like, I was just like, "Are you serious?" Like, and the thing is that there were qualities that I actually liked that they pointed out, like the one where they broke the shelf, right? So let me talk about some positives. So the one where they broke the shelf, and then they talked about how Mondo is Drea's favorite brother, right? And then he explains why he's the favorite brother, because he pays attention enough. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a great quality. But everything else that comes out this dude's mouth, every other action that he has, completely takes over those small scenes of human quality that
no.
they should have. Like, I was just like, it's great that you pay attention to your sister, and then the stuff that comes out your mouth, I'm like, you're an idiot. Like,
And
nothing you say is gonna change my mind. Like, you can name
and
any
that
of them,
is
and I'll
the
be like, you're
beauty.
an idiot.
That is the beauty of it. Like, the candy
Yeah.
bar episode where he knew that something was wrong with Rafa. When Miguel got in trouble for stealing the candy bar, and he didn't, and he just took them, and he's like, "So why do you do this?" And he goes, "Sometimes I just like feeding the chickens, or feeding the dog, or the birds, or whatever." And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, so it's just like there were different things he got from each uncle. And I think that was the point, was for them to be idiots, because when the very first one, the very first episode, first scene, him and Miguel are texting, and he's like, "You coming over for breakfast?" And Miguel goes, the first thing Miguel asks is, "How many uncles are there?" He goes, "Let me go check." And he goes out, and he looks, and you're introduced to the uncles, and he goes, "All of them." And he goes, "No, I'm good." So it's like you knew that they were going to be idiots, and that was part of the beauty of the show. And I thought that would turn my mom off, because she doesn't, like I said, she doesn't normally like just in your face comedy like that. And every time she goes, "Idiots," and that was the funny part of it, is just that you were like, they're idiots, but
But
they were
that's what I'm saying. It's idiot comedy. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's idiot comedy. So I understand people who can shake their head and be like, so stupid. And I'm like, okay, like, I get it. Like, you're okay with idiot comedy. I'm not. Like, all I kept thinking was, like, I don't know. I think it's because I'm not necessarily a fan of comedy overall. I love to laugh, don't get me wrong. But how comedy works nowadays, it's for laughs, right? So it's never based in some type of reality with laughter going along with it. And that's the type of comedy I like. Like, I like comedies like his everyday thing. And then the regular stuff of everyday life is like, oh my God, that's so stupid. And then you go about it. And so maybe I like dramedies more than I like comedy. But I felt like every single thing that they did in this show was for laughs. Like, they took it to the extreme. That's how stupid it was. And I was just like, I can identify they were stupid, but it didn't make me laugh. It just was like, oh my God, are you serious again?
But that was the humanity of it, because it's like
Which was
Raleigh.
it?
Raleigh, he was like, Raleigh is the one who convinced him to go into the program. Like, he's the one who got his application for the college acceptance program out of the trash. And he was just talking to him about it. And after that conversation with Raleigh is when he decided to enter the program. So I was like, so they did have their moments of humanity where they did, in their own ways, they taught them life lessons in their own ways. And I was just like, and that's what I loved. It that's why I was like, the uncles were, to me, the heart and soul of the show. But one of the things I also liked, that I hinted on earlier, is, I love representation. I love that representation matters. I love seeing a characterization of a Latino or Hispanic family, where they weren't all gangbangers. You had your uncles from different walks of life, and they all brought something different to the table. Families come in all shapes and sizes, and different ways. And even going back to the candy bar episode, even extended family. Miguel thought that, Miguel was a ride or die, because at one point I turned to my mom and said, he better than me, because it just depends on how hot it was in San Antonio and how mad I was that day. I might have dimed his ass out, so he'd be out there doing those rocks with me. But after they went inside and she was like, we don't do this, and he thought that for sure she was going to say, you can't hang out here anymore. And she was like, no, you're also part of this family. So it was moments like that. Like, I love Drea. She was a G. She was a hustler. But I just loved it. I thought, that it was really good. So did you even like the innocence of the first love with him and Maya? They were so cute.
um, no, because he turned into an idiot as well. Like, just certain things, like, I don't know.
Don't boys do that? Aren't boys idiots
No,
by
none
nature
that I
though?
know. See, that's the thing. None that I know act like that. Like, and I know kids who are from large families with a lot of aunts and uncles and everything like that. I don't know any of them that act like that. So whether they're smart, whether they're troublemakers, whatever it is, I don't know any that like has no sense of awareness. And so that's so once again, I will say it played up for laughs, and I get that, but like I don't know any, like, more on, like, even the talk of like going to college, right? And like his friends mindset. I was just like, okay, I get that, but like Rafa, no, I don't know any, like, and I know quite a few teenage boys, and I know awkward ones, weird ones, nerdy ones, cool ones, whatever group, clique, whatever you want to call it, that they're part of. Don't know none.
None that what? Just don't have a sense of what?
Awareness, like it was like he knew, like he had no sense of life. Like, does that mean that he was isolated and he was very like sheltered? Is that what the show was about? I'm really asking that. Like, is it like, was he really sheltered, and that's the reason why him and his friends like even had like when they would have conversations, and not just be like, okay, those some teenage conversations, but like, Rafa, like you wore a pink shirt to a carnival where nothing stuck to it, and you thought that you were cool.
That was so funny because he was taking
But it was
advice.
funny. I get it was funny. But honestly, Eddie,
that show, and it was just so over the
Honestly,
top because
Eddie,
he was ridiculous.
tell me a
And
teenager
I know, but
who's
he
gonna
was,
rock that.
but and that's the thing though. But and see, and I think you have to remember that this is fiction, it's dramatization, and it's a TV show, and
That's
I
just to
think
excuse the fact of like the idiocy of those
exactly
scenes.
like it was funny like
Okay.
he went to Express Mail. He was wearing his Uncle Mike's clothes, and as
Mm-hmm.
soon as Miguel saw him, he goes. And he knew it was nothing that he would normally wear to the carnival.
At all.
Which uncle did this?
The fact that he walked out of his house with a bright pink shirt like that, it's
That
embarrassing.
was
No
flame
teenage boy
retarded.
is gonna embarrass himself like that.
That is flame retarded. That shit was
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly.
And
I can't get it.
and,
I
and Miguel
cannot get that.
and Miguel just looked at him and goes, "Which uncle did this?" And he goes, "Mike." And he's like, "Oh yeah, because he's the only one whose clothes you can wear." Like that, girl, I loved it. Like everything you're finding wrong is what I found so perfect. Um, so you didn't like the episode either with the ride home where he was trying to impress her, and he wanted to give her a ride home in the car that didn't go in reverse, Ryan's BMW, and Ryan's like, you got to wear the gloves, but they end up getting a ride home in Jay's truck, and Maya, like where she used to she did the lawn care stuff too, and so she volunteered to go help Jay to make some extra money. So Rafa goes out and he ends up falling in the trench and getting a bloody nose, and his aunt plugs it with the tampon. You didn't like that one either.
His uncle did him wrong.
I know that was so wrong, but it was so funny. I was just like the. Okay, I literally have tears in my eyes just thinking about it all over again. Like that's oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Uh, that was funny. So, did you have a favorite episode or moment or a clip
No.
that you not even anything from the clips you watched that you liked?
Oh, okay. You know what? Yes. Now that you say clips, okay, when I take out the context. Um, so when you take out the context, the clips that I watched that I thought were funny until I watched the actual episodes. One was when he was handing out the newspaper and he had to separate them different parts for the uncles. And then he was like, okay, this part for Rolly. Where's Uncle Rolly? And then they had to do the spinning wheel to see who was going to pick him up then because he'd been in jail so many times. They had to figure out who was going to do it. And then the uncles went around trying to bribe each other. And then it ended up being the uncle that was chosen in the first place anyway.
Yes.
Um, then what was the other one? The other one was I liked okay, so I will say I liked the relationship between Sammy the bus driver and Drea.
Oh, that
I thought that was really nice. And I did not find it to be funny. I didn't find it to be funny, but I found it to be like dry humor in the fact of like he just accepted the fact that they were gonna ransack like his
his
car
car.
in order to find something on him to determine if he was a good enough guy to date their sister. And he was just like, I kind of figured it was going to be extreme. So I'm like, okay, she probably told him about her brothers, of course. So I like that because it was like dry humor, but it wasn't like stupid humor. Like I could literally see that happening. Now the whole stealing keys and everything like that, okay. But like the whole like checking up on who's about to date your sister who hasn't dated in like since Rafa was born or whatever like that. I definitely get that. But overall, no, I don't have a favorite episode because I didn't like the show. And I don't necessarily have a favorite like scene. It's just the clips brought me to the show and was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. And then once I got context, I was just like, absolutely not. I had to force myself to get through all 8 episodes. But so no, I'm gonna say like this wasn't for me. Like I get that you found it absolutely hilarious, but I could not.
Oh my
But anyway,
god.
like you tell us what was your favorite episode or scene?
I honestly loved all of them. Like they were so good. But probably my favorite one, if I had to choose one, would probably be the barbecue episode. There was so much. Drea and her non-Mexican food making, where she really all these years thought that, and I thought that was so sweet. What her brothers did, but all these years she really thought she had been cooking like all these years, and they were like, "No, she cannot cook." And Ralph was like, "But she makes the best." They're like, "No, we make the best Mexican food." And you find out that because their mom left them and they were so poor, she would just substitute any fucking thing into for Mexican food. And I was just like, oh my gosh. That was funny. And the fact that they done that all those years to protect her feelings, I thought that was really, really sweet. They were good brothers. A bit misguided, but they were good, they were good brothers. And then when she was like, I don't believe you, and she had them do the taste test. And before they just barely got into their mouth, they threw her back there like, no. And then when she was going off the whole time, like the fireworks show was in the background, it drowned her from going off. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I love that one. And Mike being in the army, wanting to be security, and he was like, I need a crossbow. And Maya says, to use on the kids? So I love that episode. But I also like gosh, Ryan and his certificate, like the game champ episode where they played that game that should have been outlawed, which was a mixed match of all these other games. And they were talking about, well, no one's gonna lose a limb or no one's gonna die. So I was like, oh my gosh, this seems like the dumbest game ever, but it was funny. And Ryan gave mad. And every time someone said it, he goes, I graduated. They go, no, you got a certificate and you printed out your own certificate. And I think it was at the end of that episode where he was holding, he really did print out his own certificate, and he had his own little graduation ceremony. I was just like, oh my gosh. And Jay, who kept all his, no, yeah, it was Jay who kept all his money in his coat pockets. He used his coats as his bank, and he had a banking system. None of that, you know, none of that,
Nope.
none of that made you laugh.
Nope. It was all stupid. You run a
Oh,
business, and I understand that you have to pay people under the table, but you ain't got one bank account and you run a business. You ain't got a business account, and your wife allowed you to not have a business account, but she's the one running the books.
it was
It was for
funny.
laughs. It was for laughs. Like it was for
Exactly.
laughs.
Comedy.
But it
That's what it's supposed to be.
but it's not my type of comedy. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't find that funny. I found that stupid. Like it was stupid comedy, and I don't do stupid comedy. I don't do stupid comedy. I used to when I was younger. I don't do stupid comedy now.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
I can't just laugh.
You can't just laugh.
I can't just laugh at stupidity. Like because in my head I'm thinking like, are you telling me that you're a business owner without a business account, but you run a business? Like, so you don't pay none of your people with like checks, like direct deposit? Like, you pay all your people under the table and you still have been able to run your business for over a day? I was like, okay. I mean, yeah. Like, no, 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 no.
No. And so I also I love the other part um of the carnival episode where Raleigh Mike was telling Raleigh he had to stop getting in so much trouble and fighting all the time because Rafa looked up to him. And then so when Rafa tried to fight the guy over the $20. I'm like, Prophet, what are you about to do? But and ultimately he understood, because at first he was shaking Mike off like, nah, it's not a big deal, whatever. And then when he saw that Rafa really was picking up on some of his uh worst tendencies, he talked to him about it. And then when he let them back into the carnival at the end, um and so he was like, "Ooh, Mexican Batman," and so the guy he told the guy, just take it out of my day's salary or whatever, but let them, give them like an hour before you call the police or whatever. And he was like, if I would have had an uncle like you, maybe my life would have turned out differently. And Raleigh looked at him and goes, nah, I doubt it. I was just like, oh shit. But yeah, so I love that one. And then Mondo and the Wooden Dicks, his dick art. That was funny. It was stupid, but it was funny. And the guy at the flea market. So I just, like I said, I just loved all of it. Like, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, or laugh as much as I ended up laughing. It was just really, really funny to me. And I happily enjoyed it. And I'm glad that, um, I normally am not a more of a slapstick humor type person either, but it was laugh out loud funny. And like I said, every time I've watched it since, I laugh continuously, even at the same jokes. And it's also rare that I'll go back and watch a show over and over again. But every time I've recommended someone watch it, I'm like, hey, you want to watch it? I'll watch it with you. So I've seen it a fair number of times, and it's really good. All right. So, God, dare I ask, are you Mulaning this? I'm just gonna ask
Yes.
that. Oh fuck. Okay, what's the rating? What are you
I'm
giving it?
gonna give Primo 1.5 popcorns.
Damn, that's wow. I can't believe you didn't find just one thing funny. Okay.
Nope.
Wow.
And like I've already explained why. It's not my show. I didn't like it. I would not suggest it to anybody. I actually talked to somebody today about it, and I was like telling them, I was just like, do you like stupid funny? And they were like, yeah, I mean, and I was just like, yeah, don't watch it. I wasn't even suggesting it. So yeah, I'm a Mulan this. First of all, I didn't finish any of the episodes. I finished 3 out of the 8 episodes fully watched from beginning to end. And 2 of those 3 times was because I wasn't actually watching the show. It was playing in the background while I was doing other stuff. So I was able to make it straight through the 30 minutes. And no, with the funny in context, it was just stupid to me. But I understand other people enjoyed it. What about you, Eddie? What are you going to give Primo?
Um, I am going to give it. This is going to we went total opposite end of the spectrum, and this is going to be my first 5 popcorn rating of the year. Um, I It was just funny. It was heartwarming. It was worth all the laughs. Um, I really, really enjoyed it. And one of the things we were talking about, kind of, when I say it was loosely based on his life, like there was an interview um, with Shay Serrano, and he was talking about the guy who played Rafa when he was on set. He would ask him, "So what type of?" Because Shay is really into music and stuff, and he's like, "Well, what kind of music do you like? What? Give me a playlist." And he's like, "No." He's like, "You're not playing me. You're not playing me, and you're not playing me as Rafa. You're just playing Rafa." So that's what I mean when I say it's just like loosely based on his life. But yeah. And I like that. It's like, no, this don't make it about me. So I thought that was really cool. But I definitely need a season 2. So I hope that once the strike is over, it will officially get renewed. I'm not even going to ask you, because I know I am alone on that wish as far as this episode goes. But yeah, so it gets my first full bucket of popcorn rating, 5 popcorns this year. Wow. I'm really surprised that you didn't like it, that you didn't find just one little thing funny. But okay. Um. So that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Rundown. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness um, at thepopcornwinedown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Pop the pop, pop, pop.
Pop, pop,
Thank
pop.
you. Thank you as always, and be sure to join us next week when we will review the Lincoln Lawyer season 2. Yay!
Woohoo.
And until then, till next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.